D-Lo 404 boxing. All right, man. I want to talk about this Gamboa versus Haney fight right quick. Great fight. You know, Devin Haney is the recognized 135-pound champion for the WBC. Gamboa just came off an attempt at winning the WBA regular title versus Tank Davis, and fighting which he gave a gallant effort, but he fell short. Had an injury to his, I think it was his left Achilles, you know, he still made it, you know, midway through the 12th round before the ref waved it off. As a big fan of Gamboa, I gotta tell you, I was very proud of his effort that night. He could have packed it in, but he chose to go out on his shield. That said, I don't expect anything less versus Haney. The thing is that as a fighter continues to lose on the tail end of their career, doubt does start to creep in as to whether or not they should be in the sport anymore. So you do have that aspect in play, that the more a fighter loses fights that they felt like they could have won years ago, as they progress in the twilight of their career, the more they start to believe that maybe it's over. I watched that weigh-in. Gamboa, he kind of seemed like it was just like, okay, let's go ahead and get this done with his body language. But after the weigh-in and they interviewed him, he was saying all the right things. He was saying the things I want to hear. You know, I don't think he's enamored by the things he's seen by Devin Haney. I think he believes that he can win the fight. And that's what I want to hear and see from any fighter. Devin Haney, on the other hand, has all kind of confidence. He's not concerned that Gamboa's experience is going to be too much for him. Devin believes in his skills, and he thinks that he has what it takes to go out there and beat Tank. I mean, not beat Tank, beat Gamboa. But the one thing I will say that I like, that I heard from Devin Haney's not going into this situation trying to outdo what Tank Davis did versus Gamboa. Devin Haney said that he wants to go out there and do better than he did in his last fight. And I think for a young fighter, that should always be the goal. You know, it's a saying that your only funk is your last cut. You know, so you only as good as your last outing. So Devin Haney goes into and approaches the Gamboa fight with that mentality that I want to perform better than I did in my last fight. I think that's the right attitude to have, and I think his attitude coupled with Gamboa's attitude coming into this fight is going to lend itself to fight fans getting a good fight. This could be a case of a young lion, put a young lion out of his, go ahead and taking him out and running him out of the pride. You know, but that remains to be seen. It could also be a case where Gamboa has one more great night left in him and puts up a valiant effort and either, makes the fight close and or very competitive but loses, or could pull off a surprise upset. But if I had to bet, being as big a Gamboa fan as I am, I have to say smart money's on Devin Haney. And for my prediction in this fight, I'm going with Devin Haney by unanimous decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 8 to 12 round stoppage. But that said, I'm pulling for my boy Gamboa to get the win. But I'm gonna come out here and give it to you as honest as I can give it to you. My expectation is for Devin Haney to win this fight going away. I think Gamboa will have some spots in there to where it looks like he's turned back the clock and he looks really good. And I also want to say one more thing. I don't know how good a shape Gamboa's left leg or heel or Achilles or whatever it is, because he looked like he was limping at the weigh-in. And he also didn't look like, when he was standing flat, it looked like his left foot was like turned up on at an ankle. It was kind of weird to see that. But that said, I'm not going to say that if he loses this fight, that's why. If he loses this fight, it's because Devin Haney at this point in his career and at Gamboa's point in his career is the better fighter. But that's all I got to say on the subject. D-Lo 404 Boxing, I'm out.